out of nothing. It was because the Right Honorable Speaker himself had a decision made by the Honorable Habib in accordance with Order 195, Clause 2, seeking the indulgence of the House to determine the form in which the Minister of Finance was to present the budget. That is one of the motions. Then 43, Speaker, that this Honorable House, pursuant to Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution and Order 204, 212, 213, 262, and 263 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, establish an ad hoc committee to investigate the Gold for Reserve scheme, including its design, implementation, governance, financial performance, environmental and public health implications, and any related matters. Then, of course, 39. This has been lingering on for more than a year. Speaker, with your leave, that pursuant to Order 127 of the Standing Order, the Right Honourable Speaker reviews the ruling of the First Deputy Speaker on 5th March 2025, sustaining the preliminary objection raised by Honourable Majority Leader Honourable Mama Yariga against moving the private member's motion listed as item number 6 on page 16.6 of the order paper on Wednesday, 5th March 2025, and same captured in the official report of the House. This has been lingering on for more than a year. What are we doing to this House? What are we doing to ourselves? This is the Parliament of Ghana. The public is interested. Other important stakeholders are interested in this matter. And we come and we discuss one reason, flimsy reasons are cited, or we cannot take the motion because of this, because of that. If you have nothing to hide, Mr. Majority Leader, with respect and deference to you, if there's nothing to hide, you should be happy to come and debate this motion and let the public know. Speaker, we are not happy. We on this side are not happy. We have cooperated and collaborated at all fronts with you. Even when you don't have your numbers, we have collaborated with you. When your numbers are not up to date, we've always collaborated with you. What is it about this motion that you keep giving us flimsy excuses one after the other? Ghanaians are watching you. The good people of this country are watching you. After giving you these huge numbers, simple motion, you don't want to debate it, and you are running away. Mr. Majority, are you proud about this? You shouldn't be proud about this. You are a man with respect because of your respect for authority, your respect for procedure. What is it about this motion that the majority is afraid of? I'm interested in that. What is it about the gold board motion that you are so much afraid? You dread it. This motion shouldn't be taken because you are going to be exposed. Because, yes, that's what it is. You are the chair of the Committee of Economy. You should be happy. You should be happy that this motion should be taken. And so the monies involved are huge. The losses are huge. So we are simply saying, no, you have your numbers. Mobilize your numbers and come and vote on it after the debate. Mr. Majority Leader, your legacies. In future, we are going to refer to this. That you were the Majority Leader when you fought hard. That motions that concern losses about our country should not be debated. And you're not going to be proud about that. Majority Leader, do something before you die. Do something. No, I'm not wishing him death, but he must show some leadership. So we on this side of the house, we are so much disappointed in his leadership. On this matter, we are so disappointed. He gave his word that the motion will be taken today. And then while flimsy excuses are being given, Mr. Speaker, what do you want to say? Sit down. Sit down. What do you want to say? Speaker, so we are saying that unless you allow us to debate and move this motion,
Honorable Chief Whip, I'll give you the floor.
Unless this motion is moved, government business will suffer. Yes, unless this motion is moved, I'm looking into the face of the majority and telling him boldly, unless this motion is moved, government business will suffer. Go and bring your 100, your so-called 187. Go and bring your numbers. Otherwise, government business will suffer. We will not allow you to proceed on that tangent of shielding matters that has to be discussed. The public is interested. Ghanaians are watching you. What is it about the gold reserve that you don't want us to debate? What is it? What is it? What is it? Frustration. You are just putting frustration in our way because you think we have numbers. Go and marshal your numbers to pass everything they want to pass from now till Friday. Otherwise, government business will suffer. I tell you. And I'm telling you in plain words. Don't take us for granted. Go and bring your numbers. Otherwise, the debate, the motion must be moved. I thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the man has just come from cocoa farms. He's been on cocoa farms trying to convince cocoa farmers that in spite of the collapse in the world market price of cocoa, they should be given a rise in their cocoa prices. He's just come back, and I think he's missed the point. Mr. Speaker, there is no motion on gold board. There is no motion on gold board before this House. Let me read the motion. It says that this Honorable House, pursuant to Article 109 of the 1992 Constitution and Order 204, 212, 213, 262, and 263 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, establish an ad hoc committee to investigate the Gold for Reserves scheme. The Gold for Reserve scheme. That's not gold board. That is not gold board. Gold for Reserves is an activity undertaken by the Central Bank, the Bank of Ghana. What has that got to do with gold board? It has absolutely nothing to do with gold board. It is about the Central Bank and the Gold for Reserve program that it is embarked upon, which exercise did not begin yesterday. Indeed, on this floor, you have argued that this side of the House should not take credit for the stability of the city because you are also part of the Gold for Reserve initiative. Indeed, you tried to argue that credit should be given to Bawumia. In this House, you argued that credit should be given to Bawumia, that the Gold for Reserves is Bawumia's baby. What has that got to do with gold board? What has that got to do with gold board?
That is your motion.
So, Mr. Speaker, that is the motion before this House. So, to rise up and seek to scandalize gold board and create the impression that gold board is hiding anything, and that if we don't move this motion, we are shielding gold board, is totally unfounded because this has nothing to do with gold board. This is gold reserves, which is a function of the Central Bank. So, Mr. Speaker, let us not be playing to the gallery anytime we have the opportunity in this chamber. And who is afraid of debating this very, very, simple and innocuous, motion? If there are issues with your motion, straighten up the issues. Straighten up the issues. Nobody is running away from any motion. What are you going to say that you haven't said, at a press conference already? There's nothing you're going to say in this chamber that you haven't said at a press conference that Ghanaians haven't heard. That as a result of the implementation of the reserve program, there's been transaction losses. That the IMF says that $200 and something million have been lost. When we can show that several billions of dollars have been raked into the system as a result of the use of gold board, billions of dollars. The stability of the city, the currency of Ghana, all that are profits. So if there are transaction losses, and so what? In every transaction, you look at the loss versus the gain. The loss versus the gain. You compare losses to gains. We are ready to debate you because we also have on record that when you started the implementation of the reserve program, there were equally transaction losses. Significant, in billions of Ghana cedis. We have the statistics. Without any gain. Loss without gain. Loss without gain. In spite of the loss, we're still exchanging the Ghana cedi at over 17 Ghana cedis. With this small transaction loss of 200 and something million, now we have the cedi coming down, averaging 10 and 11 Ghana cedis, and very stable. Inflation has come down. Our reserves has increased astronomically. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a debate that we are ready, prepared. My chairman for Economic Committee, today you can see he is in a tie and then a suit waiting to participate in the debate. Honorable Adongo has left all his work as a member of the board of the Central Bank, and he's sitting here ready to respond to you. Everybody on this side has come this morning prepared to take this debate. This is a very good motion for the NDC. It is a motion that gives NDC the opportunity to market its achievement in the stability of the city. This is a motion that indeed is favorable to the NDC. In fact, we should have brought this motion. We should have brought this motion. But it's good that you have brought it. And we are ready to take it. If there are procedural issues, let's clear them.
Straight in there, let's come.
So, at conclave, I advise you what to do. I'm surprised. I thought you have done that, so that we can have our way clear to take this motion as soon as possible. But you refuse to do what I advise you to do. Then you come and stand here and say that you have lost confidence in my leadership. Am I the one who admits motions? Am I the one who admits motions? I don't admit motions. I got to make an application to the speaker agrees, and then we take it. Even statements. I just got up and made an application to the speaker so that we can take a statement. And then you admit it. So you know the issue. You know the issue. As for my friend, Honorable Afenyo Makin, I believe he understands. Why you don't understand, I have a problem. Or he asked you to speak for him. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we can go and take statements. As for the threat regarding government business, I don't even want us to go there. Government business is business for all of us. And if you insist that we must bring all our numbers, we will bring all our numbers, but that shouldn't be an issue. Mr. Speaker, I think we can go for the statements.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Speaker, with respect, the Minority Chief Whip House. And Mr. Speaker, they act in bad faith. This House has been seized with this motion for several weeks. They are never ready to be accountable. They are a walking contradiction. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader on his feet argued that the motion has nothing to do with Go Board. For the avoidance of doubt, I will read the text of this motion in extenso. Mr. Speaker, this is what the motion says. That this Honorable House, pursuant to Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution, and Standing Orders 204, 212, 213, and 262, and 263, is moved to establish an ad hoc committee. They are afraid of the ad hoc committee to investigate the Gold for Oil Reserve Scheme, including its design, implementation, governance, financial performance,
Honorable Minority Leader.
Environmental and public health implications.
Honorable Minority Leader, are you reading the motion by the order paper?
Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, with respect, this side of the House kept quiet and listened to the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, what they don't know, Mr. Speaker, what they don't know is that a motion is always accompanied by an explanatory memo. They should know this. If they've not read the standing orders, I will stand here to educate them. So listen, Mr. Speaker, the motion, if you go to paragraph 3, I have the original text that has been approved by Speaker. It says that this substantive motion setting out the composition, powers, terms of reference, reporting timelines, interim measures, and implementation framework of the ad hoc committee. Mr. Speaker, and we've attached here too the preamble. It's all required by the rules, and we comply. This is what the preamble says. Whereas Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution empowers Parliament to appoint committees to investigate and inquire into the activities and administration of ministries, departments, and agencies. Semicolon. Recalling standing orders 204, 212, 213, 262, and 263, which provide for the appointment of ad hoc committees and confer powers to send for persons, papers, and records. Semicolon. Gravely concerned by the International Monetary Fund staff report for Ghana's 5th review under the extended credit facility into bracket December 2025, which document that the Bank of Ghana sustained foreign exchange losses of $204 million in the first 9 months of 2025, attributable to the Gold for Oil Reserve scheme. Further concern that the IMF report identifies significant downside risk to Ghana's economic stabilization program arising from the scheme, including losses from failed trade, elevated off-taker fees, and high operational costs. And Mr. Speaker, by the way, when the minority raised these concerns, Gold Board and Bank of Ghana had an emergency meeting, a joint meeting of their boards, and slashed the fees to 9.55. This is an effective minority. If at all you were satisfied that the charges were okay and there's a cost to implement an economic policy, why did you meet? Why did you convene that emergency meeting to reduce the charges from 15% to 9.55%? We are aware of all those facts. Mr. Speaker, it goes further. Alarmed by credible reports that substantial proportion of gold purchased under the scheme may originate from illegal mining operations, thereby implicating state institutions in the potential laundering of illicitly sourced minerals. Deeply troubled by the environmental and public health crisis arising from illegal mining, including contamination, deforestation, and projected potable water emergencies. Noting allegations of inadequate supply chain due diligence, failure to implement mine level traceability consistent with OECD guidelines, and lack of transparency in the operations of Gold Board, mindful of Parliament's constitutional duty to exercise effective oversight of public institutions managing strategic national resources. Now, therefore, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, he must have patience. Mr. Speaker, don't allow him. Mr. Speaker, don't act in bad faith. He should let me finish. He should let me finish. I'm reading the full text.
The majority leader is up.
Mr. Speaker,
I give some recognition to you, the leaders.
Very well, Mr. Speaker. I will still come back. He will not. He will not succeed in confusing this house. I have the full motion here, and you are afraid that I'm reading that the ad hoc committee to deal with Gold Board. Mr. Speaker is here. We have the full document as admitted by Speaker. You say you are ready. Get ready and let's debate it. As of December, IMF reported that the losses have exceeded 7 billion cedis.
Minority leader, I recognize the
very well, Mr. Speaker. I would resume my seat for you to recognize him. I know he wants to re-argue. He has no point of order. But Mr. Speaker, I will yield to him, but I will come back. You won't run away from this Gold Board motion. You can't. Mass dismissal motion is still waiting. You say you have 189. You say you are super majority. So go ahead. We promise you that we will match you with substance. We promise you. We will match you with substance, and you are afraid of substance. If your chairman on economy is ready, he should debate. What is he afraid of? Why are you afraid of this motion? You will say
Honorable
procedural.
Minority Leader.
I yield to him. What procedure are you talking about? What procedure are you talking about? I'm yielding to him. I'm yielding to him. I'm yielding to him. But what procedure was he talking about?
Mr. Speaker, a man who says he doesn't fear, but he's clearly afraid of the issues that I'm going to raise. You are clearly afraid of the issues I'll be raising. Mr. Speaker, let's get back to the standing orders. You speak of a motion and then a memorandum. Can you show me specifically which order makes a memorandum a part of the motion? Mr. Speaker, what is before us is a motion in these terms, that this Honorable House, pursuant to Article 103 of 1992 Constitution and Orders 204, 212, 213, 262, and 263 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, establish an ad hoc committee to investigate the Gold for Reserves scheme. So actually, you're asking us to establish a committee to now conduct the investigation. So you don't even have a basis for saying that wrong has been committed. You don't even have a basis for saying that wrong has been committed, because you are asking for an investigation. But you speak as if wrong has been committed and anybody is running away from a wrong that has been committed. So, Mr. Speaker, including its design, implementation, governance, financial performance, environmental and public implications, and any related matters. Mr. Speaker, this is the motion before us. When you get up and read a tall order in a memorandum, it's not part of the motion. That is not what has been advertised. If you're going to write a memorandum and you have added Gold Board's name there, on the face of this order paper, no member sees the name of Gold Board. So Gold Board is not an issue here. Gold Board is not an issue here. No, let's be fair. You can't just stand there and say anything about an institution of state and make wild allegations relating to that institution. And I'm saying that you're out of order. You're out of order because what you have is a motion. The motion has not been considered yet. So exercise patience. You've raised your issues. We've responded to the issues. You seem to want to debate the motion, but clearly there is nothing that you can say that hasn't been said already about this motion. And so I urge you to let us continue with the business of the day. As for this motion, I have shown you how to resolve the issue of the motion. I have shown you. I cannot say everything, before the cameras, but I've told you that we are ready. Go to order 102. 102 deals with the motions, notice of motions. Go and read order 102. Have you read it? You can also read 103. You can also read 103. But you can start from 100. When you read all those ones, when you read all those orders, you will not see anything about a memorandum. You will not see anything about a memorandum. Your motion is your motion.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the rules of the House must be read as a whole. A motion is a motion. And he, the majority leader, as a practitioner of the law, must know that you don't appear before an adjudicating body with a lay motion. A motion must always be accompanied with your law, with your facts. Mr. Speaker, if you read Order 111B, it talks about a motion shall be accompanied with an explanatory note stating the reasons for proposing the motion. That's in the rules. We can never get it wrong. The minority here, we are few in numbers, but we do our research. We are few. Mr. Speaker, whether half-hour motion, whether substantive motion, whatever, Mr. Speaker, a motion must be, Mr. Speaker, the rules must be applied mutatis mutandis. It must be applied mutatis mutandis. With Mr. Speaker, the majority leader, no, you've had your bite. Can you take a rest? Mr. Speaker, as a lawyer, patience is part of your virtues. Sit down. It doesn't matter. Sit down. Let me argue. Let the speaker determine. So sit down. You can't come back on point of order twice. You sit down. Let me finish.
Well, minority leader,
Mr. Speaker, I need to finish.
Order 111
Mr. Speaker, can I
talking
finish?
about
Mr. Speaker,
our
don't join
motion.
this debate. Let me finish.
I'm not
Mr.
joining
Speaker,
the debate.
Let me finish. Can I finish?
I'm not joining the debate.
Can I finish? So can I finish? So you sit down. I will listen to him. I will listen to him. So now who is afraid man? Now you are the afraid man.
Honorable Minority Leader, with all due respect, Standing Order 111B deals with
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I refer to it. I use the language. Mr. Speaker, you are a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. Mr. Speaker, you are a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. The Latin expression mutatis mutandis was invoked by me to support my argument. Mr. Speaker, I must be heard by the majority leader.
That the condition for admissibility, the condition for admissibility of half-hour motion is different from a motion.
Mr. Speaker,
let's straighten up the record. Then you can continue.
I am arguing, Mr. Speaker, with respect. I am arguing that the rule must be looked at mutatis mutandis. That is my argument, and it's allowed by law. That is the law.
Honorable Minority Leader, there is no doctrine of infallibility. We listen to you, but when speaker is speaking, you also have the courtesy to listen to the speaker.
Mr. Speaker, question him. He is finding fault
you
on
have
this
the
side.
courtesy to listen to the speaker. You see, this is a house of record, and we all know that admissibility of a motion is different from, the condition is different from admissibility of a half-hour motion. I believe your motion on record is not a half-hour motion.
Speaker, with respect, the majority leader's argument, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader's argument is that the motion should not, when speaker has allowed, so when speaker has allowed, speaker has granted me the right of audience. Speaker has granted me the right of audience. Yeah, but speaker has granted me the right of audience. Majority leader, are you now the speaker? Yeah, but speaker has granted me the right of audience. I have the right of audience. Majority leader, I have the right of audience.
Resume their seats. May I ask my two leaders to resume their seats? May I humbly ask my two leaders to resume their seats? Leaders, please kindly resume your seats.
Speaker, I have the right of audience now.
Leaders, kindly resume your seats.
Oh, no, you can't. No, you can't do that. No.
Leaders, kindly resume your seats.
No. And stop using your left. It's not clean.
Honorable Minority Leader, also resume your seat. Honorable Minority Leader, you should also resume your seat. I did not ask you to put your microphone off. I said resume your seat. Leaders, why? We are not arguing the motion. Minority Chief Whip just draw the attention to this matter, that those motions would have to be taken. And that ends it. There cannot be any further argument generating to what we are saying. Why? Are you on a point of order against the Speaker? Honorable Habib, you know, when Speaker is speaking or whoever is presiding is speaking and you are on your feet, it simply means you are on a point of order against the Speaker, and it is not done. The front bench would have to help us to maintain order in the House. So why are all this happening? It is not the best. Yes, what do you have to say?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's not in relation to this matter. Mr. Speaker, just an observation, and I want to draw your attention to the Constitution in Article 102. Mr. Speaker, Article 102 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I read that a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, shall be 1/3 of all members present. And Mr. Speaker, I've been fortified by Standing Order 64. And Standing Order 64 also states that a quorum of Parliament, apart from the person presiding, is 1/3 of all members present. And Mr. Speaker, I've taken notice of Order 64.2, where Order 64.2 states that where the person presiding is a deputy speaker or a member, that person must be counted. Mr. Speaker, I have counted, and our colleagues in the majority are 47 in number, and we are 23 in number. Mr. Speaker, we did not constitute the quorum to commence business. And Mr. Speaker, I invite you to apply the rules in this matter, that we don't have quorum to continue with business. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Honorable Minister for Education.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also rising on a completely different subject, but Mr. Speaker, a matter which must be of interest to the Parliament of Ghana and this House. Mr. Speaker, I drew your attention, but I was trying to clear with leadership. The Supreme Court of Ghana has given a ruling on matters relating to asset declaration rules for public officers, including members of Parliament. And in that ruling, the Supreme Court says no grace period. When Parliament, Mr. Speaker, passed Act 550, it provided for a certain period for which assets are declared by public office holders. Mr. Speaker, the ASEPA, Mr. Mensa Thompson of ASEPA is the one who went to question and ask for the exclusive jurisdiction of the Supreme Court in interpreting Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution and compared against Section 4 of the Public Officers Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualification Act 1997, Act 550. And Mr. Speaker, that ruling must guide this House. Is that to suggest, Mr. Speaker, that the Parliament of Ghana is not sovereign, and therefore in the exercise of our mandate in Article 93 of the Constitution, this Parliament is subject to the Constitution and subject to the judicial powers of the state? By striking out this 6-month period, Mr. Speaker, and why I raise it, because when Parliament is passing legislation, we are guided. For instance, if it says you must declare assets before assumption of office. That is a ruling of the Supreme Court. And Mr. Speaker, I know that in constitutional jurisprudence, the Supreme Court must be responding to eliminating absurdity in legislation. But will this not yield another absurdity? For instance, if you are nominated as a minister, at what point are you to declare assets when it says you must declare the assets before? And if you are appointed a chief executive, I'm just bringing this, Mr. Speaker, yourself a good lawyer. What is the Parliament of Ghana required to do? Because we are subject to the Constitution, but I find this ruling of interest to what we do here. One, if it's to guide us in future in respect of legislation that this House will look at. I know that there may be a request for a comprehensive review of the entire asset declaration regime to serve our country better in order to make it more transparent and more accountable. I'm all with the Supreme Court if they want to strengthen transparency and accountability. But the absence of a grace period, and Mr. Speaker, not knowing when a public officer assumes office, even a chief executive, I thought that I should bring it for the attention of the House. I
Thank you very much. An Honorable Minister for Education, you know, we make the law, but we don't interpret the law. The law is always interpreted by the court. That is why we say the law lies in the bosom of the judge. That is the interpretation given by the Supreme Court regarding the assets declaration. So until that decision is reversed, that is the law. We'll have to go by it, unfortunately. Now, back to the issue raised by Honorable Habib. I would invoke Standing Order 64. Yes. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I'm happy for this opportunity. I rise to share a concern on the quorum that is raised. Honorable Speaker, we know you have experience in this House and your knowledge about our standing orders is impeccable. We saw a number of minority members here when the leader raised the quorum. Then, whilst they are raising quorum, without being mindful of they themselves satisfying the wanted provision of the Article 102 of the Constitution and our standing orders, they start filing out. They start filing out to create the situation for quorum not being formed. Mr. Speaker, I call you to exercise discretion in this matter. Thank you.
Yes. Well, let me hear the majority whip. I'll come to you.
Speaker, just a while ago, the First Deputy Minority Whip raised an issue pertaining to quorum, that the House is incorrect. Mr. Speaker, I beg to differ. At the time he was on his feet, there were 35. Please. But you declared that you were 27. At the time he was on his feet, we are 75. Oh, you can do the counting. You can do the counting. So if you add 35 to 75, the House is not incorrect. Within the meaning, please, you provided figures. I'm also providing you figures. So this penchant for frustrating business of the House, which you decried just a while ago. So, Mr. Speaker, the House is properly constituted. We have the quorum to continue with business. Speaker, as earlier pleaded by the leader, let's move to item number 7, and take statements, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, if indeed, Speaker, if the chair is minded, Speaker, the procedure provided under Order 64 can be triggered. But I'm saying that the basis upon which he made that prayer is unfounded, because the House was properly curated, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Habib.
Mr. Speaker, I think the Majority Chief Whip need to avert his mind to 64(4)(c). Mr. Speaker, it's not when a matter of quorum is raised on the floor of Parliament. Order 64(4) give directive what the person presiding should do. But it doesn't lie in the hands of the Majority Chief Whip at that point to tell the Speaker, the First Deputy Speaker, who is very experienced, as to what to do. Because Order 64 says that the person presiding shall, the person best in. In any case, you are 189 and you need 92, 93 to commence business. So why are you saying that we are 23 or where is, if you are 75? If you are 75, you need 92 to continue. Mr. Speaker, 64(4)(c) says that the person presiding shall direct the clerk at table to conduct a head count of the members present. So it is not you to do a head count. So the counting that you did was a waste of time, because you don't have any authority to do that counting. It is the Speaker who can direct the procedure to be followed. So, Mr. Speaker, I still invite you that we don't have that quorum, and for that matter, do the needful. If at the end of the day it is established, which I am very convinced that even at the moment we don't have the quorum, we are not up to 92 to commence a business. So, Mr. Speaker, I invite you to apply the rules.
Honourable members, yes. Honourable members, issues, yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minority Leader, your Deputy Whip was on the feet. I recognize him. He's decided not to use the opportunity. Now, Majority Leader is on the feet. Why won't I recognize the Majority Leader? I rule if nobody is up to speak. So the Majority Leader is up. What do I do? Honourable members, what do I do? Yes, Majority Leader, let me hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I don't think there's a problem with going through the processes outlined in our standing orders. What I recall is that the bell developed a fault. The bell developed a fault and and was not ringing in the offices. So I just want a confirmation that the bell rings in the offices. That is just all that I'm cautioning, that let's make sure that the bell rings in the offices. Because you see, the rules say that the Speaker will direct for the bell to be rung and for a certain number of minutes. But I just want to be sure that when the bell is rung, it will ring in the offices of the members of parliament.
In any case, what have you said was
No, it is the verification that I think Speaker should embark upon.
application is incorrect.
So when Speaker directs that the bell be rung, he has to ask the clerk to verify that the ringing is also taking place in the offices, so the MPs can be prompted to come back into the chamber. Even as you deplete your numbers by deliberately walking out, we want to make sure that those who are not in the chamber actually have notice that we need them in the chamber for us to proceed with government business. So, Mr. Speaker, whilst this is going on, can we start with the statement by the Minister for Roads? Mr. Speaker, you cannot say that we cannot. You can ring the bell, but directing that the bell should be rung doesn't mean that proceedings should be brought to a halt. No, proceedings should not be brought to a halt. Proceedings will continue even as the bell is being rung for the time period that the bell is being rung. If at the end of that time period the Speaker decides to conduct the count, then we can look at the figures and see if there is
continue the business of the house.
Yes, so it is clear that the person presiding shall continue the business of the house for a period of 10 minutes. No. When the bell is rung, after the Speaker has decided and the bell is being rung, we have 10 minutes to proceed with government business as the MPs troop into the chamber. So, Mr. Speaker, that is guidance that I'm seeking from you.
Yes, honourable members, the rule invoked is very clear. Actually, we don't base the decision on the members' count when attention is drawn to the absence of a quorum. I would direct the clerk at table to cause the bell to be rung for 10 minutes, and by Standing Order 64(4)(b), business of the House shall continue. I will therefore call on the Minister for Roads and Highways to present his statement. Clerk at table, you may proceed to ring the bell, and make sure you ring the bell physically at the committee rooms as well as the offices.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Habib, you raised the issue and have given my directives, unless you are saying I'm not operating within the rules. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to give an update of the government's flagship Big Push project to this House. Right Honourable Speaker, honourable members of this August House, I present to you an update of President Mahamad's flagship infrastructure development project, the Big Push. Mr. Speaker, may recall that President Mahamad dedicated the first 2 years of the Big Push program to address unprecedented deplorable state of our road network. Through the Big Push infrastructure program, launched in 2025, the government is investing heavily in repairing critical roads, upgrading key economic corridors, creating jobs, and reducing the cost of doing business across all 16 regions. The program places strong emphasis on Ghanaian contractors and workers, helping to strengthen local technical expertise in construction sector. Mr. Speaker, the Big Push program has received strong support from Parliament so far. This House has approved nearly 50 billion for these multi-year road and bridge projects. We appreciate the support from leadership and members of this House. As I speak, Mr. Speaker, over 2,000 kilometers of roads in all 16 regions of our country are under extensive transformation. Mr. Speaker, in times past, we have all been concerned by the state of our roads, mindful of the amount of monies invested. In the spirit of probity, accountability, and transparency, we encourage the public to remain engaged in monitoring the project in their localities, and we always appreciate their constructive feedback. Mr. Speaker, recently, an online platform requested for details about ongoing road projects, and same was willingly and timeously provided. There was no attempt to conceal any information. I am grateful for the opportunity to update Parliament on the status of implementation of Big Push project, infrastructure project. Mr. Speaker, no ministry is subjected to as much consistent scrutiny as the Ministry of Roads. On average, about 10 questions are filed weekly, covering wide-ranging issues from contract awards to project costs and timeliness. The ministry also regularly gets invitations for committees of Parliament to respond to development within the sector. Mr. Speaker, I welcome the scrutiny. It strengthens accountability and ensures that we remain aligned with the expectations of Ghanaian people. I wish to assure the House that I take the responsibility entrusted in me with the utmost seriousness. I remain fully committed to delivering on our mandate with integrity, transparency, and efficiency. Mr. Speaker, prior to 2024 election, it was clear that majority of Ghanaians were not happy with the deplorable and dangerous nature of roads across the country. They made it a condition that when given the mandate, the government of President Mahama should take urgent and immediate steps to improve the country's road network. This has been justifiably followed by consistent questions of timeliness and from members of this House as to when the roads in their constituencies will be improved. Mr. Speaker, this is a House of record. Let me state unequivocally that all contracts awarded under the program were done in strict adherence to the Public Procurement Act and its accompanying regulations. Mr. Speaker, all contractual information is publicly available and on the ministry's website. The Big Push roads were identified, the original Big Push project identified were just 12 major economic corridors across the country, which were christened the 12 disciples. These projects were later broken into 54 lots to foster competition and speed up implementation. Mr. Speaker, additionally, 23 road projects valued at 14.88 billion, which were awarded by the previous administration and abandoned by contractors due to lack of dedicated funding and were absorbed as part of Big Push. These projects were novated to be Big Push under the new funding. Mr. Speaker, these are some of the projects. The design and construction of Swami Interchange and ancillary works, Phase 1. Design and construction of Swami Interchange Local Road, Phase 2. Takoradi Agona rehabilitation and dualization of Takoradi Agona Junction, including 2 number dual carriageway bridges. Rehabilitation of Tepa Mabangoso Road. Reconstruction of Jenijini Sampa Road. Rehabilitation and upgrading of Kaswa Winiba Road. Rehabilitation of Kaswa Winiba different lots up to 3. Rehabilitation of Ofanko Nsawam Road. Design, build, and dualization of Adenta Dodowa. Upgrading of Nkwanta Otidamanko Road. Upgrading of Nkwanta Otidamanko kilometer 0 to 50.3. Upgrading of Tumu Sicily Navrongo Road. Upgrading of Tumu Chichuluga Navrongo Road. Partial reconstruction of Navrongo Chichuluga Tumu Road. Upgrading of Tumu Han Laura kilometer 45 to 70. The same all the way to upgrading of Tumu Han Laura Road and construction of National Route 8 Wa Han Laura Road. Rehabilitation of Hokwe Jasikan and then construction of Have Hokwe Road. Mr. Speaker, globally, it is globally acceptable that sole sourcing, even
is acceptable if in situations where there is the need to extend the implementation of works which were previously competitively procured to speed up completion. Though the 23 projects I talked about that we innovated, none of them were competitively procured. They were also source contracts, but which were innovated at the cost of 14.8 billion Ghana cedi. Mr. Speaker, given the scale, urgency, and national importance of these projects, a mix of procurement methods were employed in accordance with the law. Mr. Speaker, it is important to note that only 44% of all the major contracts included in the Big Push contract were awarded by the ministry under sole sourcing. 44%. So not what has been published by a certain online portal. We have also awarded over 400 different contracts through open competitive bidding, over 400, which is unprecedented because the record shows that from 2017 to 2024, almost all projects that the ministry carried out were sole sourced. Almost all the projects were sole sourced. It will therefore be mischievous for any right-thinking member of society to conclude that the Ministry of Road and Highways only procures work through sole sourcing. Mr. Speaker, I have already mentioned the deplorable state of the road network across the country we inherited from our colleagues. This had brought untold hardship to the motoring public and contributed massively to the food inflation. This led to public agitation and the survival of the state. Mr. Speaker, something needed to be done and done urgently. Mr. Speaker, with dedicated funding already secured under the Big Push program, was both prudent and necessary to proceed swiftly to ensure value for money and avoid cost overruns associated with long procurement and implementation timelines. Mr. Speaker, most of the project would not have started until date if we hadn't adopted a faster route. Mr. Speaker, the following projects, for example, wouldn't have been continued or started. The Kaswa-Winneba and then Kaswa Interchange Road, which is in my good friend, the minority leaders constituency. The dualization of Winneba Cape Coast, the Swami Interchange project, which was stalled but now has gotten a new life, the Kumasi Outer Ring Road, and the Ofanko Nsawam Road are part of this. Mr. Speaker, we put in place the following mechanisms to ensure value for money in terms of cost, quality, and longevity. Contrary to the practice under previously under the Big Push program, agencies did their own survey, design, costing, at saving billions. Mr. Speaker, I say this because in the past, this project would have been designed and built. Mr. Speaker, by asking the agencies to actually do our design costing, we have saved at least 5% of the cost of the project. So we started saving money on this project, making sure that the country gets the best in terms of the value for money. Contractors were then invited to submit proposals. Their proposals were then subjected to independent value for money assessment. We have instituted a stricter monitoring and cost control mechanisms to ensure we only pay for works done. Mr. Speaker, we have now established a system where no contractor will walk away with a cedi without working for it. Mr. Speaker, we have also reached an understanding with the Ghana Institution of Surveyors to develop a local capacity of members to be licensed as independent value for money auditors. Mr. Speaker, it is important to point out the deliberate falsehood that rely on simplified metrics such as cost per kilometer without considering the scope of works. Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, under the recent leadership of President Mahama, road projects have not been unjustifiably suspended or terminated. The huge unpaid debt of over 40 billion has also received attention of the government. Over 11 billion has been paid so far to contract all awarded or inherited from our brothers from the other side. The government has not abandoned any ongoing project. Mr. Speaker, indeed, the Accra-Kumasi bypass project have not been abandoned. Indeed, we have completed one of the lots and have taken it over. Mr. Speaker, the rest of the lots have been programmed to be budgeted for in the 2027 budget if Parliament approves. However, Mr. Speaker, the cost to complete, including the outstanding debt of the Kumasi bypasses, is estimated at 6 billion Ghana cedis today. Mr. Speaker, let me state emphatically that when it comes to the Big Push program, Parliament exercised continuous oversight. Questions are answered regularly on the floor of the House. Independent professional bodies validated the project cost. Procurement processes complied with established legal framework. There is no abuse of the sole sourcing program. Unlike previous, it is an exception and not the norm. Indeed, no procurement law or any other law has been breached, and definitely there is no scandal. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of the Big Push program, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I call on Mr. Speaker, I say this as a matter of fact. I am not responding to anybody except those who are falsifying information on social media. Mr. Speaker, the NDC did not award over 70 billion cedis worth of work under the Big Push. Indeed, we said 54 billion of that was for new works, and then the 23 projects were projects that we inherited, costing another 14.8 billion. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, there's spurious information online that 76%
Honorable
of Big
Minister,
Push
just go ahead with your
projects
statement.
were sole source is also false. Only about 44% of those projects were procured through sole sourcing. And I state on record, Mr. Speaker, we are making progress as a House and as a country to make sure that much of our procurement is done competitively. But that is why I'm saying that those who claim to have done this so-called analysis based on data we submitted to them freely didn't help the country. Because if they did due diligence, they would have known that those percentages they put outside were pure fabrications and false. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, President Mohammed's government has taken steps to improve the procurement process. And as a matter of fact, as I said, I'm not having a go at our colleagues on the other side. I say that today as a minister, almost the 110 billion cedis worth of projects we inherited were all procured through sole sourcing. I don't blame them, Mr. Speaker. I sat on this side of the House not too long ago when the people of Swami were demonstrating against the respected former leader, Honorable Chairman Sabonsu. I supported the fact that we should procure the Swami interchange through sole sourcing because it was urgent and we needed to do it. When the motorway was awarded to Motor Angels, a foreign company, and they couldn't raise the financing, I was one of the first people to say that let's terminate the work and get a Ghanaian contractor to do it. In this House, we also agreed that that project should also be awarded on sole sourcing to the contractor Maripoma. Mr. Speaker, I say this simply because the impression is that when we were in opposition, we said nothing about sole sourcing was good, and when we were now in government, we are doing the opposite. Mr. Speaker, what I presented to you today shows that everything has to be done in context. What I will say here, Mr. Speaker, majority, all Big Push projects are on site and are ongoing, and by the end of 2027, Mr. Speaker, you will see a lot of completed road projects that would enhance our economy, make our roads safer, and this is why I tell colleagues, let us work together to make sure that we protect the Big Push. Let us not fall for any agenda of anybody outside of this House. This is the House of Parliament. The debate, the formulation of policy of anything that has to do with governance stands here and not anybody outside. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the entire country for the support they've given to Big Push. President Mahama is not in the business of skewing anything to disadvantage the people of Ghana. Big push projects are on site, they are ongoing, and shall be completed on schedule and on budget. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I have here, Mr. Speaker, that I will table all the advertisement of all the projects we advertised, over 400 of them, competitively and awarded. So those who are taking, let's say, 70 projects and using that to strike out at the difference, this is the information I have for you. Majority of the projects we are embarking on were actually procured through competitive bidding. Mr. Speaker, I also mentioned that all that we are doing with regard to the Big Push project are already on our website, so we are not concealing any information in terms of the description of the project, the scope of work, the name of the contractor, the day the contract starts and when it's expected to be completed is there. So nobody has gotten a scoop, and indeed, Mr. Speaker, there is no scandal about the Big Push. Big Push project was approved by this House, and we shall make sure that it delivers to the people of our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, before coming to comment, for my sake, let's take a few minutes suspension.
Hold on, tell them. Everybody.
65. What are you talking
Everybody.
about?
10th World Oral Health Week 2026. This initiative seeks to promote oral health awareness among members of parliament, parliamentary service staff, and ancillary staff, while reinforcing Parliament's strong commitment to staff welfare and preventive health. Happy Life. This week-long campaign highlights the importance of maintaining good oral hygiene for a healthier and happier lifestyle. Participants will benefit from free dental screening, professional consultations, and oral health education from qualified dental professionals at the Parliament Medical Centre. The event begins with a lunch, screening, and consultation. Date 25th March 2026. Venue Justice D.F. Annan Auditorium. Time 9:00 a.m. Screening and consultation will continue at the Parliament Medical Centre Dental Unit. Dates 25th to 27th March 2026. Time 9:00 a.m. to 4:00 p.m. each day. Join us during World Oral Health Week 2026 and make your oral health a priority, because remember, a happy mouth truly is a happy life.
I must commend Right Honorable Speaker and then Parliamentary Service, the clerk, the leadership for this channel. Colleagues that came here 10 years, 12 years ago, you know, we could barely hear of them, you know, but this is a TV that has brought the people close to Parliament. And then it has saved a lot of people money, because people had to buy a bundle to go on Facebook. You know what I mean? And there are places where people don't have access to internet. You know, it's even saving the young people and Ghanaians a lot of money. And then also, I appreciate most the gap. It's not about somebody reporting that Kofi Akunuku said this. It is about you hearing it directly, source-based. You know, it helps. And then if a member of Parliament, and I know that on the floor, whatever I'm saying, my people are watching, it brings discipline.
Mijidi is a Parliament TV, they are the papa. Didn't come Right Honorable Speaker Agban Sumana Bagbin, Mebona Basso, say all day in Papa say Yaba. Parliament TV Bebuama, Yama Menum, Yanum, our Mufi, a who near my Koso, our Marasibijum. A Bebuama who say Ampa, small Masumayeno, Yenso, ye Bebuama Ghana, Afan into my Peframa Ghana Pija. And inti, Mijidi is a papa. I
haven't been here for long, but I realized that when we got here,
is a great joy for me to stand here before you in the heart of the Western region, a land of immense promise, rich history, and extraordinary potential. I'm here with a deep sense of humility and gratitude to say a sincere thank you for the overwhelming support you showed me during the last election. Your trust and belief in our vision for resetting and renewing our country, Ghana, is what has brought us this far, and I do not take it for granted at all. We will have the opportunity as a nation soon to pray and give thanks to the Almighty God, as enjoined by the Holy Book that says that in all things give thanks. We will thank God for His beautiful blessings on our nation, Ghana, and I'll soon announce a planning committee made up of religious leaders to plan the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. I propose that this National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving should be held on 1st July, which is also our Republic Day and also marks Senior Citizens Day. Nananum, my brothers and sisters, we will soon present to Parliament amendments to the Public Holidays Act in order that we can restore July 1st as a holiday. During the 2024 election, I came here to seek your blessing and your mandate, and you responded overwhelmingly by entrusting me with the leadership of this country. And today, I came here simply to say two words: thank you to all the hundreds of thousands of people who voted for me here in the Western region. I'm here to reaffirm my commitment to honoring the trust and confidence you have reposed in me. We'll deliver on our promises, and I'm hopeful that you will see tangible, life-changing developments across the region soon. Long live the Western region, long live our homeland Ghana, and may God make it great and strong. I've made this journey here today with a heart full of gratitude and immense pride. Gratitude to you for your unwavering support and pride in your steadfast commitment. You, the people of the Upper East region, have shown to the National Democratic Congress since the founding of the Fourth Republic that you are an unshakable rock of Gibraltar behind the party. My appreciation has been further deepened by the fact that in the 2024 election, the Upper East region did not only reaffirm its unwavering support for the NDC, but you also honored me with a pride of place as a candidate to receive the greatest endorsement in the recent memory ever given to any presidential candidate in the Fourth Republic. And I recognize that the emphatic mandate you have given me reflects your heightened expectations of me and my government. It is an affirmation of your trust in the principles of fairness and probity and accountability that form the bedrock of NDC's ideological underpinnings. More importantly, it is an expression of your confidence in our vision to reset Ghana and transform the fortunes of our dear Upper East region. I embrace your trust with a deep sense of humility and an unshakable commitment to work tirelessly to justify the faith that you have placed in me and the National Democratic Congress. On behalf of the government and the great NDC, I say thank you very much in English. Ompusiye barka in Kosal. Ompusiye zue frafra. Ompusa bakrika in Moshi. Manyejam in Bully. I think it's enough. I'll stop there. Anope me ba Asante Memu se ye be ye dwumadie bi e wo Nkawie ye Tree for Life initiative na me be see ye no e na regional minister e ka atorenchen bi a esi e wo Edum ha nti se se na ewie sa dwumadie no e na me se mentu anamo embehwe na esi na ampanso eya reho and if say we share enyoma asay ene enkofo stores a ahye na eyade a eyo ha wiye enti nedikan meda fire service for ase ene modern bo amu ye ya omo etimi abre ejano anu ase na ye wie anu a na yahwe nya ema ni si enso ade ba ko a fire for aka trem ne say ombedru ye no say na ombetimi awuremu etimi akodum jano enu ya de ba ko a eha omu ye na wo hwe a yedwam bebre saa na tie enti eja to mu a say na fire for betimi edru ho etimi edum jano ntem no na abeye ohaw ama omu enti e o se ye di we su anyansa na ye hwe yedwa no da ye planning ni ye say na be ya bibi kosi a na etimi aso anu ntem enti yani minister ne edwadifo no ebeka ya ka kire nadmu se ombehwe na omompe emoa bi emfa mo omo kakra yani chief of staff nso bekasa enti nya Asante regional minister ene ombeka no na ya hwe emoa ebetimi de abo omo se na be ya omo so ombena yi comfort kakra yegina hey otimeto tese explosion bi cause wo ho ni na ya gas cylinder se wate ba ko ni na ye gas cylinder say explode ejom eni say ye use gas cylinder e wodwom eni say enua aduane wodwom o pese o didi a o say o kọ abonte kọtọ aduane bra na onua wo fie na o de aduane no bra e ba dwom enso gas cooker ne sa nyoma ni na e ka ho e na sa nyoma esi enso ne wo ho ne say mema omo a sa atorenchemi aka omo no mema omo ko say na aban so behwe se ne be ya ye betimi aso omumu kakra. This is the Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill. That's the famous e-levy bill. I'll proceed to sign it. I've just given assent to the repeal of the famous e-levy bill. Now this is the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025 to remove withholding tax on winnings from lottery, betting, and games of chance. This is the famous betting tax repeal bill. So betting tax is gone. This is the emissions tax repeal bill. So emissions levy is gone. This is the earmark funds capping and realignment bill. This is the bill that caps the GET Fund and National Health Insurance levy and moves those resources into the consolidated fund. We promise that we'll take the capping off, we'll uncap them. So the earmark funds capping and realignment amendment bill has been assented to. This is the Public Financial Management Amendment Bill 2025. This bill is a very important bill because it will stop some of the recklessness that was exhibited under the past government. It sets a target of GDP to debt ratio of 45% by the year 2034. And that will be the ceiling, 45%. No finance minister can come and borrow us to 104% like we've seen. Public Procurement Amendment Bill 2025. Now, this is a very important amendment. Agreements and contracts are not to be signed if they've not been given a commencement certificate by the Ministry of Finance. This affected only ministries. Now it has been amended to include the Public Procurement Authority. Now, this is the Value Added Tax Amendment Bill. This bill seeks to remove VAT on insurance. And so we promise the drivers that we'll take off VAT from insurance, because when they pay insurance, they have to pay VAT on it. And they add it to their cost and use it to increase lorry fares. So VAT on insurance is repealed. And this one is the Petroleum Revenue Management Amendment Bill. This bill is important because it allows us to fulfill the Big Push program for infrastructure. The petroleum annual budget funding amount of the petroleum revenue is meant for infrastructure, but in the past it has been used for all kinds of things. This consolidates it all under the Big Push for transformative infrastructural programs all over the country. So this will build our highways, this will build our roads, this will build our bridges and other important infrastructure, provide farmer service centers to give agricultural services to farmers and other such important projects. Okay, this is the Gold Board Act. This sets up the Gold Board that will streamline Ghana's gold sector, including our exports, to make sure that Ghana earns more value for money from our gold mining exports. This is the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Act. It increases the growth and sustainability levy from 1% to 2%. It ensures that Ghana makes more money from its mineral exports. This is the Energy Sector Levies Act. This act consolidates several levies in the energy sector, including the Price Stabilization Levy, the Sanitation and Pollution Levy, and several other such levies into one. And it will go to pay off our energy sector debt, which, as you know, stands at about 2.2 billion. This will yield about 10 billion cedis every year. Promises delivered. Today we stand at a critical juncture in our nation's history, a moment that demands renewed energy focus and commitment to securing our future through food self-sufficiency and agricultural transformation. The Feed Ghana program is our flagship initiative. It is a strategic umbrella under which all agricultural projects and interventions will be executed. It is anchored on deliberate actions to increase food production, promote modern farm practices, strengthen infrastructure, and develop agro-industrial zones across the length and breadth of Ghana. The Feed Ghana program is therefore timely. It represents a bold commitment to put our resources where our ambitions lie. To reduce imports from neighboring countries, we'll invest in controlled environmental farming, including the use of greenhouse technologies and urban and peri-urban agriculture. We'll establish farmer service centers nationwide to provide mechanization services, quality inputs, finance, market access, primary processing, and training for our farmers. We will develop agro-processing zones with irrigation, roads, power, and warehousing to attract private investments to boost production and processing of our agricultural produce. The Exim Bank will be repositioned to offer concessional loans to agricultural enterprises, especially those involved in the export and value addition process. The Feed Ghana program is not just a policy, it is a call to action. The task ahead is monumental, but it is achievable. With unity of purpose and shared commitment, we can transform agriculture into an engine of national growth and shared prosperity. Let all farmers, agribusiness people, financial institutions, development partners, and citizens put their shoulders to the wheel so that we can make this vision a reality.
You are welcome, Your Excellency. From Opankor, we have a two-lane dual carriageway with two-lane service ways on both sides of the road, that making 8 lanes. And then we jump over, to the Pokwase interchange area around Pokwase, where we have 3-lane dual carriageway and then 2-lane service roads, making 10 lanes. Now we have a number of, we have one interchange here at Amasaman, and that is where we are presently. It is a 3-tier interchange. By way of construction, we've finished, with about 4 kilometers, of the first session where we've done asphalt, and then beyond, we've done, that is at Amasaman, beyond Amasaman, we've gone all the way to around kilometer 10. We had some challenges, in the past, but then with your support and that of the Honorable Minister, the contractor has received some funding, and for the past 2 weeks, we've been working
monitoring the demeanor and the facial expression of the minister. I'm sure he has regretted in some of the comments he made in the past with regard to the issue that he himself has presented to the House. So sourcing. I'm sure he has regretted. But, Mr. Speaker, it is important for this House to also note that inasmuch as we are not against any issue of sole sourcing, it must, or it doesn't have to be abused by anybody in office. Yes, Section 40 of Act 663, Section 41 of Act 663 has given the leeway or has prescribed how these things can be done. But it must not be butchered or abused. No government should take advantage of this very section and award contracts that are going to be paid with the taxpayers' money. Mr. Speaker, I am not against any situation like that. For instance, if a contractor is working on, let's say, Asamankasi Road, he has mobilized to site, he has a site camp, and the ministry want to award another contract on the cross-route to Odan Road. It only reason that that contractor, because he is already on that stretch and has his camp already set up, you may want to give an addendum and give that contract to the same contractor to pursue, and that you may want to use sole sourcing to give that contract, the contractor, to do that work. And it will even save the nation, because it's a new contract moves to a site. Now the state has to pay for the camp setting and all manner of things. But in this case, you can be justified in giving the contractor the addendum or the additional work to do it. But not in instances, Mr. Speaker, when we are talking about a contract valued at, let's say, 1 billion Ghana cedi, and we give it through sole sourcing, it creates some kind of doubt or impression in the minds of the people. I'm not saying that somebody have done any wrongdoing anywhere, but I'm saying that it is time that we, as the politicians in government, have to respect the very law that we have passed. We don't need to, overdo or butcher or abuse the very section of the Procurement Act that has given us the leeway to do that. As the minister made mention of the previous government awarding a lot of contracts, and they did not go through any competitive tendering. Can the minister furnish this house those contracts which was awarded that did not go through that competitive tendering? He should be able to, because he has been able to table those contracts he has awarded. So he should have been in the same position to also table those contracts, so the Ghanaian people will know that contract A, B, C were the contract that the previous administration awarded without taking it through competitive tendering. I am not here to justify any such action by whether the previous government or this government. But what I'm saying is, yesterday you complained and accused the previous government. You even impugned corrupt practices against those people. Can I today tell the minister that those single source contracts that they have awarded to those contractors to pursue, who is going to benefit? Is it the President Mahama who is going to?
Yes, Honorable Haji Aladi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by the Minister. Mr. Speaker, the issue of roads is an issue that every Ghanaian is interested in and wishes that it goes well. Mr. Speaker, I sat quietly and I listened to the Minister, and as a person who has been on the Roads and Transport Committee, I'm not in doubt what I am saying, neither am I in doubt of what the Minister said. I just listened to my former chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee, and interestingly, he made a statement that surprised me about the Akrosu Road, where he supposes that the minister should have, or they could have, just given it to the contractor that is on site. And it sounds like a dream to me, because I've never seen them do that. I never saw the MPP, for that matter, do that, saying that continue. All I saw was that, Mr. Speaker, they came and rather stopped road projects. Mr. Speaker, the road from Bolgatanga, Boku to Pulmako, my own constituency, was stopped barely 2 weeks when they came into power. It was stopped. Not that we were not asking for them to continue to any other place, but for the work to be continued. It never happened for the 8 years. So listening to them, it sounds like a dream to me. Mr. Speaker, he also mentioned that the roads minister should have mentioned some of the roads that were given on sole contract, but he didn't do it. And I would mention but a few to you for your consumption. And maybe if you need more, you could get them later on from the Minister of Roads. Mr. Speaker, the roads are rehabilitation of Odenting, Buahing area roads, 3.6 kilometers. He should check and he would find that it wasn't advertised, there was no competitive tendering. Bantama area and environs, 10.50 kilometers, phase 2. Nothing, there was no competitive tendering. Bantama and its environs, phase 1, no competitive tendering. Pothole patching, sectional repairs, and resealing of arterial roads in Ofori Chrome, no competitive tendering. And yet, this is what a former chairman is talking about. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate that the Minister for Roads, when he presented, he had mentioned how much they left in debt. They left in debt with some roads costing not less than 14.88 billion. When our government came into office, we never stopped those projects. And the projects have been listed on page 4 of his statement. The projects are there listed. And I think we should appreciate the fact that this government never stopped those projects because we need the roads. We are not denying the fact that you are talking about sole awards of contracts. But you should know that you have done it and we have all the information with us. Mr. Speaker, I want to just encourage the minister that he should continue with his good works and also to let them know that out of the 2,000 kilometer roads that are being done, Upper East is benefiting and Pusga is benefiting. We have Sanam, who is working from Yarga number 2 to Pusga town, and we have Pezo, who is working from Widana town to Yarga number 2. And we have others for now. So
yes, Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib.
Speaker, it's been more than an hour since the first bell was rung. Speaker, the first bell was rung at 1:41. You've gone to have some conclave and you are back, and we have still been waiting for you to give direction on 6443. C, Speaker, that is to direct the clerks at the table to conduct a head count of members present. Speaker, respectfully, that is our call on this matter.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, are we continuing on the comments?
Yes.
Or what he has raised? Okay.
Yes, we are continuing on the comment. Yes.
Speaker, respectfully, I made a call. I was thinking you would give me an indication.
I know what exactly I am doing, so you just resume.
So, Speaker, there's a need for you to tell me so.
They are counting.
So, very well.
I thought you don't want to talk. Yes, Honorable Jinapo. You have the floor, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the statement made by the Honorable Minister for Roads and Highways, and Mr. Speaker, the comments relating to the statement should go beyond MPP NDC contestations. And Mr. Speaker, it should go beyond Pussiga as well. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect to my big sister, this is really not a matter of point scoring. It is the fourth estate, Mr. Speaker, it's the fourth estate that put out an expose relating to the number of sole-sourced contracts under the Ministry of Roads and Highways. And the minister has found it prudent to make a statement more or less in response to the report put out by the Fourth Estate. And Mr. Speaker, before I say anything further, may I refer the House to page 6 of the minister's own statement, specifically paragraph 24. And paragraph 24, Mr. Speaker, clearly, the minister himself concedes that 44% of all the major contracts, including, in this case, I'm quoting him, big push contracts awarded by his ministry under President Mahama, were procured through sole sourcing. Mr. Speaker, I am referring to almost half, almost 50% of the contracts awarded under the Ministry of Roads and Highways were done through sole sourcing. Mr. Speaker, and this is by the Honorable Minister's own say so. This is the statement he's giving to Parliament. In other words, the Honorable Minister confirms and or corroborates the report put out by the Fourth Estate. Mr. Speaker, a civil society investigative journalistic institute. Mr. Speaker, that revelation was not made by the minority. It was not made by the MPP. It was made by the Fourth Estate, and the minister has come to Parliament at page 6, paragraph 24, and the Honorable Minister has corroborated it. Mr. Speaker, the question I want to ask is that even before that, just last week, we had the value for money audit bill before this House, and we did debate it. And I had the occasion on that day to indicate that there is a need for us as a country to interrogate the procurement mechanism of sole sourcing and restrictive tender. And we took some considerable time to distinguish between public, competitive tender, restrictive tender, and sole sourcing. Mr. Speaker, let's face it, when people get agitated and worried about sole sourcing, there is always, it's normally because civil society, stakeholders, and actors in the body politic seems to think that sole sourcing lends itself to opaque transactions. And by that, I don't refer to this instant case necessarily. But I'm saying that when people raise issues, why do you award such a contract through sole sourcing? The concern globally is normally because pundits feel that when it is sole sourced, the room for opaque transaction and underhand dealings is easier. The minister has come before us, Mr. Speaker. He's told us that he's done half of his contracts through sole sourcing. He's admitted it. The Fourth Estate is come up with all kinds of suggestions, allegations, and so on and so forth.
Yes, Honorable Bedra, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the Minister for Roads and Highways for bringing this statement to the fore in response to some media speculations and media reportage. Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, the Procurement Act, which was passed in this House, Section 40 of the Procurement Act, as 663, says that, Mr. Speaker, that a procurement entity may engage in a single source procurement under Section 1 with the approval of the board in the following exceptional circumstances. Mr. Speaker, this clearly tells you that, indeed, the law that we passed in this House has given support to sole sourcing. Mr. Speaker, under which circumstances? The circumstances have been enumerated in the procurement law or procurement act. Mr. Speaker, those of us who are in the industry, the built environment industry, have argued in the past, including my colleague, that sole sourcing by the previous administration, which was almost 100%, was too much, to the extent that I have to question my own institution, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, for allowing the institution to be used for some sole sourcing activities. The Speaker, that was 100% sole sourcing. And you ask yourself, where are we going in this country? The cardinal issue under sole sourcing has to do with the fact that there should be value for money auditing or value for money monitoring. Mr. Speaker, the minister has made it clear that this big push contract, which we all know has issues with the media, has value for money auditing contract consultant attached to the big push contract. Mr. Speaker, if you permit me, the minister's section 22 of the minister's paragraph 22 of the minister's statement said, Speaker, it is globally accepted to use sole sourcing even in situations where there's a need to extend the implementation of works which were previously competitively procured to speed up completion. Even the above 23 projects were previously procured. Mr. Speaker, clearly in the previous administration, projects were given out on sole source basis. And so if today 44% of contracts are given out on sole sourcing, not 100%, this is in the right direction because we are reducing it. If it has been 100%, then those of us who were arguing against sole sourcing at that time will also come after the minister. But I can tell you that reducing it from 100% to 44% is far better than 100%. And Mr. Speaker, not only that, you have value for money auditors attached to the contract. So if anybody has an issue, all he has to do is to find out whether there's value for money or there is some underhand dealing in the awards of contract. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that Kasua to Winneba Road, Kasua to Winneba Road, Kasua to Winneba Road, Kasua to Winneba Road was sole source until this government came to regularize it and move on with the contract. We could have abrogated it because it was under sole sourcing. Winneba Interchange, we all know, was sole source. Mr. Speaker, the dualization of Winneba was sole source. Mr. Speaker, some interchange was sole source. We all know in this house that they were all sole source. Yes, Kumasi Outer Lane was sole source. But the current administration, the current minister decided that, look, even though it was sole source, we will look at it and allow it to go so that we'll continue with the work. Mr. Speaker, with this, it clearly shows that, look, we have moved from 100% to 44%, and I'm sure by the time we finish with the value for money law, we will come to 0% when it comes to sole sourcing. With this word, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honourable members, Jerry has again drawn my attention to the issue of quorum. Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I know we have had some backstage discussions. There are two committees sitting as we speak, three committees sitting as we speak, and I wanted to, in fact, it is advertised. If you take our order paper, you see that the Transport Committee is sitting, the Government Assurances Committee is sitting, the Foreign Affairs Committee is also sitting. So these committees are sitting. So in that regard, I think that the appropriate thing for us to do is to take an adjournment so that these committees can finish their work, and then tomorrow we can proceed on all fours. Given that we haven't done up to 5 hours, Mr. Speaker, I move that this House be adjourned till tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.
Before taking any secondment, let me acknowledge the presence of students from Presbyterian Senior High School, Latte, Ekwapim, led by Frank Edu Asari, Assistant Headmaster. They are from Ekwapim North, the number 67. We also have students from Presbyterian Senior High School, Mampom, led by Gifty Amuate, Assistant Headmistress, Administration, also from Ekwapim North, the number 65. Honourable members, on your behalf, I welcome them to Parliament and urge them to have a fruitful visit. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Majority Leader a moment ago, knowing that after several hours, he's still not been able to secure a minimum to conduct business, is now saying that there are 3 committees having meetings, so there should be an adjournment. Mr. Speaker, this sends one signal, the signal that there must always be consensus. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, are you on point of order? What is the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader on his feet. Yes, I'm on my feet on point of order, on grounds that he is misinforming the House. Order 122, Honorable Jinapo, read. Now, Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader's business is to second the motion pending before the House. But in doing so, he's misinforming the House that my side or our side, we have not commandeered the number. Speaker, this is the attendance for the day. I have 122 of my side. So I have not even added his side, which were in excess of 135. So, Speaker, the motion by leader to adjourn the House was well founded. He gave reasons three major committees are presently in session. So if the minority leader is not minded to second the motion, I will do so, Mr. Speaker. Then perhaps you can hear him. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion presently before the House.
Minority Leader, I will give you the floor, but before then, let me make this announcement on World Oral Health Day observation. Honourable members of Parliament are respectfully invited to the commemoration of the 2026 World Oral Health Day under the theme, "A happy mouth is a happy life." The launch will take place on Wednesday, the 25th day of March 2026 at 9 a.m. at the Justice D.F. Annan Auditorium. Screening and consultation will begin after the lunch at the Parliament Medical Center Dental Unit until 4 p.m. and continue each day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. until Friday, 27th March 2026. Honourable members are encouraged to participate in this important health program. Thank you for the audience. Yes, Minority Leader. Motion has been moved and seconded. It's now for the consideration of the House.
Mr. Speaker, I was on my feet with some preliminary issues in respect of the motion by the Majority Leader. And the Majority Chief Whip came in on a point of order. He argued his point of order. He promised that you allow me to continue my submissions. And all I hear now is that the motion has been seconded. Well, Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with public records. But it is obvious that the majority side is in deep crisis this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, before I discharge my duty of formally seconding this motion, let me put this across, and it goes to my colleagues in government. I am surprised that today, Fourth Estate has come out with findings and it's been disputed. You see, I've been cautioning that let us all be measured. Mr. Speaker, the issue of SML came from Fourth Estate. The very issue that all of you on this side of the house are crucifying Ken Ofori-Atta. You've not given him the opportunity to be heard. Today, we are being told that sole sourcing is 44%, and people talking percentage. Colleagues, we are political leaders. It is important for us to sit around national issues. It is important that core national issues, we political leaders find space to build consensus on.
Honourable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I cannot speak.
You can speak, but speak to the issue on the floor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I said, Mr. Speaker.
Once the House has been moved for agenda.
Mr. Speaker, we in leadership allow some space to act in the public interest. That is why, Mr. Speaker, that is why, Mr. Speaker, that is why I said before I formally.
Honestly,
Mr. Speaker, if you think that it is wrong for me to
hear me
go ahead,
out.
I will
Hear
just
me
resume
out.
my seat.
If you want this to happen, Jerry will not have been pressing on the issue of quorum, because I have the numbers here to call and do the needful.
Speaker, let the record bear us out that the majority is not in crisis.
Honorable,
the majority leadership
honorable members, motion,
is not in crisis.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, motion move and seconded. The question therefore is as many as are in favor of the adjournment of the House say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. This House is accordingly adjourned till Wednesday, the 25th day of March, 2026 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.
The areas where we have those challenges, where we saw in the social media, we are currently almost at the level of asphalt. Per the extension of time that we've given to the contractor to next year, around the second quarter, we should be done.
Your Excellency, at the time you took office, the contractor raised a certificate of almost $78 million before NPP left power, and they did not pay him. So it was surprising that just after you took office, people were expecting that what they could not do all over that period, you would do it. But guess what, Mr. President, you did it. As of today, Mr. President, every certificate owed the contractor on this project has been paid.
There's a major arterial road in the country because it connects the two biggest cities in Ghana. And so any challenges with this contract affect a huge number of commuters because of the heavy traffic that passes through here. And so we were quite concerned about the complaints that were coming from the traveling public. And so we are happy to see that the traffic is flowing. I can understand what happened. A loan was taken for this project. And I don't understand why the money is finished and the project is not over, and that we're having to come and pay supplementary almost 78 million from government of Ghana funds. So that's something that we need to find out what really happened. How come the loan that was taken was not enough? Was it that the estimate for the project was not done properly, or what happened? But I can see that drivers are happy now, and I hope that from now till when you finish the project, you maintain a smooth flow of traffic even as you're working, so that you don't impede the flow of traffic. So we'll hold you to your word. Nyesi na ampa nso ɛyɛ awerɛho ɛfiri sɛ wohwɛ nneɛma asɛe ɛne nkurɔfoɔ stores a ahye na ɛyɛ adeɛ a ɛyɛ ɔhaw yie. Enti na ɛdi kan mɛda fire service fo ase ɛne mmɔdenbɔ a wɔyɛeɛ a wɔtumi abrɛ agya no ano ase. Na yɛwie ano a na yɛahwɛ nea ɛma ne sii nso adeɛ baako a firefo aka kyerɛ me ne sɛ ɔmbɛduru yɛ no sɛn na ɔmbɛtumi awura mu ɛtumi akɔdum gya no ɛno yɛ adeɛ baako a ɛha ɔmo yie. na wohwɛ a yɛdwam bebree saa na ɛteɛ nti agya to mu a sɛnea firefoɔ bɛtumi aduru hɔ ɛtumi adum gya ne ntɛm no na abɛyɛ ɔhaw ama wɔn nti ɛwɔ sɛ yɛde wei sua nyansa na yɛhwɛ yɛdwa no da yɛ plane ne yie sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a biribi kɔsi a na ɛtumi asɔ ano ntɛm nti yɛne minista ne adwadifoɔ no ɛbɛka yɛka kyerɛ nadmo sɛ ɔmbɛhwɛ na ɔmompɛ mmoa bi ɛmfa mmɔ ɔmo kakra yɛne chief of staff nso bɛkasa nti nea Asante regional minister ɛne ɔmbɛka no na yɛahwɛ mmoa a yɛbɛtumi deɛ aboa ɔmo sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a ɔmo so ɔmbɛgyina ɛyi comfort kakra yɛgyina ha yi wotumi te sɛ explosion bi rekɔ so wɔ hɔ ne nyinaa yɛ gas cylinder sɛ wate baako ne nyinaa yɛ gas cylinder sɛ explode edwom eni sɛ yɛyusu gas cylinder ɛwɔ dwom eni sɛ enua aduane wɔ dwom wopɛ sɛ odidi a ɛwɔ sɛ wokɔ abɔnten kɔtɔ aduane bra na onua wɔ fie na wode aduane no bra ɛba dwom ɛnso gas cooker ne saa nneɛma no nyinaa ɛka ho ɛna saa nneɛma esi ɛnso nea ɛwɔ hɔ ne sɛ mɛma ɔmo a saa atɔrɛnkyɛmi aka ɔmo no mɛma ɔmo kosɛ na aban nso bɛhwɛ sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛtumi asɔ ɔmo mu kakra. This is the Electronic Transfer Levy Repeal Bill. That's the famous e-levy bill. I'll proceed to sign it. I've just given assent to the repeal of the